The Siachen Braveheart, Naik Hanamanthappa, is no longer with us. The brave soldier of the 19th Battalion of the Madras Regiment. He passed away this morning at Delhi's Research and Referral Hospital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted on the sad demise of Naik Hanamanthappa. He said, and I quote, "He leaves us sad and devastated. Rest in peace, Naik Hanamanthappa. The soldier in you remains immortal, proud that martyrs like you served India." Doctors at Army's Research and Referral Hospital tried hard in the past 48 hours to save Naik Hanamanthappa. He had survived being buried under 35 feet of snow at 20,500 feet altitude at the northern Siachen glacier. He survived 5.5 days. For 5.5 days, the army made all effort to find him and to fly him then to Delhi and to save his life. Sadly, they failed. Joining me now is my colleague Anandya Banerjee. He joins us with more on this. Anandya, all efforts made to save Naik Hanamanthappa. In the end, this was a losing battle.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a very sad piece of news that has trickled in, and it took a while for everybody of us who have been covering this entire, of Lance Naik being flown in here, and then his subsequent treatment here in Army's Research and Referral Hospital to sink in. The doctors tried their very best from the very beginning. They knew it was a very uphill task, considering the fact there has been multiple organ failures. His body wasn't responsive the way it should have been. But Gaurav, the way he has been retrieved from the alive from Siachen after 5.5 days, as you were rightly mentioning, is going to be fable. And the way he survived with grit and passion throughout all the efforts of the medical experts, and
Yes.
all the entire 3 days that he survived. And the doctors say that it was only his grit and passion that made him survive. Otherwise, technically speaking, pathologically speaking, it wasn't possible. It wasn't human for anybody to survive that long. Particularly at the fact when your brain is oxygen deprived, when your lungs are oxygen deprived, when your kidneys are not functioning properly, when you have multiple organ failure. Particularly from such an instance, you have a brave martyr, Naik Hanamanthappa.
Oh, absolutely. And Shiv Arur also joins us with more on this. Shiv, Naik Hanamanthappa is a legend now in Siachen, and all those who've battled in that most hostile battlefield. He's also a picture of grit and determination and that never say die spirit, Shiv.
It's incredible, in a tale of unending heroism and bravery at Siachen. For a soldier of this kind to stand out in this way, to survive against all odds for 8 days together, Gaurav, is something of a rarity. Even in a posting that is replete with stories of absolute valor. What Naik Hanamanthappa has really shown, I think, is that stories of grit, determination, devotion to duty, superhuman abilities to overcome the most amazing physical difficulties are still possible in this day and age. At the moment, as a nation mourns, I think what the family will want to remember is those 8 days of indescribable courage that this young soldier, he was just 33 years old, he was born in 1983, he was married with a young daughter, just 2 years old.
Yes.
She's not going to be old enough to remember very much about her father. She didn't see very much of him because he saw her when she was born, saw her a few times in between, and then of course it was a duty that beckoned to Naik Hanamanthappa. But his story of valor is definitely going to go down, because it's not just a story of military valor, it's a story of huge, amazing human and physical strength, grit and determination that Lance Naik Hanamanthappa has shown. For a location like Siachen,
Yes.
which does not normally occupy the mind space of a country, what Lance Naik Hanamanthappa's story has done is unite an entire country, captivate billions of people, not just in India but around the world. This is a story that made international headlines. What this young man actually achieved there under that avalanche for 6 days, 144 hours in unbelievable temperatures and pressure. I think the big takeaway from this story, as we put our hearts out to the family, to his unit, to the people who served with him, his comrades in the army, in the Ministry of Defense that looked after him all these years, I think the big takeaway from this is the determination that this young man showed to stay alive against the most superhuman odds.
Oh, absolutely, Shiv. Another aspect that comes to light here is the spirit, the core of the Indian Armed Forces, of the Indian Army, Shiv. How they all come together to save a comrade in arms.
It's an incredible lesson in no man left behind. Remember that after the avalanche took place, you had a lot of leaders, mourn the loss of the 10 people there. The army kept saying, no matter what, we will continue to look for our men. We will not leave them behind. We will cut through 40 feet of ice. We will stay here for as long as necessary. We will deploy as many resources as necessary to actually find the soldiers who've been unfortunate enough to have been caught in that icefall and avalanche. The fact is, the army stuck to, it stuck to its word. They did not leave a man there. They found everyone, and it's only yesterday that the entire rescue operation was actually wound up once all the 9 mortal remains of the other 9 soldiers were actually recovered, in addition to a living Lance Naik Hanamanthappa. So spirit de corps, the ethos of the army, it's a punchline for most of us. Leave no man behind.
Yes.
In the military, it's a way of life. It's life and death. It's in the very DNA of the army that leaving no man behind is something that's non-negotiable. As far as a unit is concerned, Gaurav, your father was in the army. We've met people, who've served in these super high altitudes. Over there, camaraderie, brotherhood, the complete inability to leave a man behind isn't just a tagline. It isn't just a sentiment. It's a way of life. It's non-negotiable. It
Yes.
cannot be any other way. And I think that's why this story has been so surprising to the country. Not very many people actually know the kind of ties that bind people who function within the same unit. The Madras Regiment, known for its bravery as well, the kind of unity that exists, the kind of fraternity that exists between soldiers in one unit, it's very difficult to imagine, for people who aren't very familiar with the military. And I think that's what this story has really captured.
Oh, absolutely, Shiv. Stay with me for a moment. We're also getting reactions that are coming in from across the political spectrum. We'll get you those reactions. There's one more point I want to make here, Shiv. That's about how soldiers from Tamil Nadu, from Kerala, from Karnataka, from Andhra Pradesh were fighting at the Siachen glacier up north, and how this entire nation today stands united. Earlier in praying for Lance Naik Hanamanthappa, and now in grief with the family, Shiv.
You're so right, Gaurav. I think the dividing lines between states, completely blur when a story like this is really told. There were so many stories and comments on social media over the last 8 days of, about how, these soldiers, most of them from South India, from the Madras Regiment, growing up must have been used to nothing but sunny skies and summer and hot weather, no real winter to speak of in Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, are the very soldiers giving their lives guarding our frontiers in Siachen. There's a sense of irony, but there's also a sense of such amazing beauty of the diversity of this country, the courage, the unquestioning determination and valor that soldiers show. The army, for which there are no states. India is one country. There is only one border, and that's the border of the country, the external border, against our adversaries on the outside. States hardly divide us. The army is one family. All of these sentiments, all of these pieces of ethos came out and captivated a country. I imagine in the coverage of this story, Gaurav, India was so fascinated by this story, not only because of the valor displayed and the superhuman strength of Lance Naik Hanamanthappa itself, but also, as you rightly said, because these men were from the south, They were, deployed in the north. State lines completely seemed to disappear, and India really, in that rare moment, appeared as just one country with one border.
Yes. One country, one people, one border. Shiv, stay in with me. We have lots of reactions coming in. Lata Mangeshkar, Madhur Bhandarkar, Manish Tiwari.
हालांकि मुझे कोई आशा नहीं थी, जिस तरह की बातें मतलब मैं पढ़ रही थी टीवी पे और बताई जा रही थी कि उनका क्या हाल है, और वाकई ये बात सही थी कि 6 दिन एक आदमी बर्फ के अंदर रहता है और उसकी ये हालत होती है। उन्होंने सांस कैसी ली, कैसे 6 दिन वो जिंदा रहे, यही सबसे मतलब भगवान की ही वो कुछ लीला है कि वो उस वक्त इतने दिन जिंदा रहे। और मुझे डर लग रहा था कि या तो उनको मतलब निमोनिया का दोनों लग में ये था, और हो सकता था कि पाँव खराब हो, या वो कोमा में थे तो कोमा से ऊपर उठे ही नहीं। मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा था। अभी थोड़ी देर पहले मैं बात कर रही थी। मुझे बहुत दुख है और हमारे जवान हमारे लिए क्या क्या करते हैं और कैसी कैसी मुसीबतें उनके आती हैं और वो झेलते हैं। वाकई एक भगवान की कृपा है, और जवान है तो हिंदुस्तान है, वरना कुछ है।
And joining me now on the broadcast is Director Madhur Bhandarkar. Madhur Bhandarkar, Lance Naik Hanamanthappa is no more. Your first reaction to this, sir?
Yeah, I just heard about this and it's very sad. The whole country was praying for last 2 days, and we've seen people in temples, church, dargahs, everywhere they were like praying, and we were all very positive, very optimistic about he will recover, he will come out from coma. But and morning also there was thinking, was critical, but after 10 minutes back we came to know he's no more. That's really sad. I mean, this person, like the soldier who fought a battle, he was 6 days in the Siachen, and when he was here back, and we were all very positive about it. Hanamanthappa will be back.
Yes.
It's really sad.
It is, but at the same time, isn't this heartening that in up north Siachen, in Jammu and Kashmir, we have soldiers from Tamil Nadu, from Karnataka, from Kerala, from Andhra Pradesh fighting for our country, and this unites the entire nation. We are one strong country.
Absolutely. Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we are one country, and everybody, every state has contributed to the country. And Hanamanthappa definitely, he was a fighter. He was, the kind of zeal, the kind of rigorous he was. After 6 days also he came. It was really a great thing. But we all, we prayed, but it's really unanswered. He couldn't survive.
Anandya Banerjee now joins me with more on this. Anandya, the family is devastated. Quite a roller coaster ride for them. Initially, they were told all 10 have passed away, and then this happy news that he had survived, and now he's passed away too. We'll try and reestablish that line with my colleague Anandya Banerjee. Information that is also coming in. Lance Naik Hanamanthappa will be cremated, his last rites with full military honours. Shiv, has the family finally decided, or is it too soon, whether last rites with full military honours in Delhi, or do they want to take him back home at Dharwad?
Decided just yet, Gaurav. That's a good question. In fact, I think the army will be pushing to hold, his last rites with full military honours here in Delhi. But I imagine that the decision will finally be left to the soldier's family itself. We've also just heard, I just had a word with one of his unit mates in the 19 Madras Regiment, and they say they're also obviously going to hold hold a ceremony at Siachen base camp, perhaps very close to the site of this posting itself. So in the next few days, we're going to see a lot of things happen, Gaurav, apart from the military honors, because as you and I both know, and we've been reporting this story minute to minute, day to day, hour to hour, this isn't just the death of a Jawan. This transcends bravery, this transcends the ethos of the military that you and I are so well versed with. This transcends, superhuman abilities. This is not a defense story. Let's make no mistake. This is not a military story. This is an Indian story. This is a human story. And it has captivated anyone who knows even one small aspect of it. The fact is, we're going to see military honors either in Delhi or Dharwad, but we're also going to see a very special ceremony that will take place on the Siachen Glacier by his very own unit. The Army Chief and the Prime Minister at some point of time in the future might visit as well. And I know that you have also heard this from the same source, Gaurav, that there might also be a permanent kind of structure that might be constructed in Siachen to commemorate Lance Naik Hanamanthappa.
We've been told that yes, because he is the spirit of that will to survive against all odds. Buried 35 feet in snow for 5.5 days, and yet when they pulled him out, he was breathing, his heartbeat was there, and he was conscious. Unfortunately, his brain was starved of oxygen in those 5 days at 20,500 feet altitude, and gradually there was multiple organ failure and he didn't make it. Rohini Swami now joins me from his village in Dharwad in Karnataka. Rohini, at this point of time, it's a double shock for the family, friends and relatives who are actually praying for his recovery.
Absolutely, Gaurav, and I'm sure that all of us, and why not, we also have made the silent prayer. We had the silent prayer on his lips that we only hope that Lance Naik Hanamanthappa has had that one miracle in his life where possibly that he would survive. But here, a huge shock for his family, a huge shock when the news broke in. But more importantly, the family was coming to terms with the fact that he was possibly, there was some possibility that he would come back home. But now they feel proud. They feel proud that a man like him was born to their family. They feel proud of a person like him. But here also we've also seen that there have been political leaders who have already come in, and they will, and here opposition leader Jagdish Shettar and also the former Chief Minister of Karnataka just visiting the family and making a statement right now. Let me cut right
ನೋಡಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ವೀರ ಯೋಧ ಹನುಮಂತ ಕೊಪ್ಪದು ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಅಗಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ದುಃಖಕರವಾದಂತ ಸಂಗತಿ. 6 ದಿವಸ ಹಿಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವಂತವಾಗಿ ಹಿಮಪಾತಾಳಿ ಆದಾಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಆ ಹಿಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಿ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದಾನಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಭಾಗದ ಜನರಿಗೆ, ಇಡೀ ನಾಡಿನ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಆತ ಬದುಕಿ ಉಳಿತಾನೆ ಎನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಶೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬಹಳ ಆಶೆ ಇತ್ತು ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಆ ವೀರ ಯೋಧ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಗಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹಳ ದುಃಖದ ಸಂಗತಿ, ಖೇದದ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಇಡೀ ಒಂದು ನಾಡಿನ ಜನತೆಗೆ, ದೇಶದ ಜನತೆಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ಆಘಾತಕಾರಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಇದು. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಇದರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬ ವೀರ ಯೋಧನ ನಾವು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆತನ ಒಂದು ಶೌರ್ಯ, ಆತನ ಒಂದು ಧೈರ್ಯ, ಆತನ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆದರ್ಶಪ್ರಾಯ. ಅಂತ ಯುವಕರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಅವರು ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ಭಾರತದ ಒಂದು ಸಂರಕ್ಷತೆ, ಭಾರತದ ಒಂದು ಈ ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಆ ವೀರ ಯೋಧ ಇವತ್ತು ಹನುಮಂತ ಕೊಪ್ಪದ್ ಈತನ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಶಾಂತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕೋರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾಂಜಲಿಯನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅವರ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ವರ್ಗದವರು, ಆ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಸದಸ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಈ ಒಂದು ಅಗಲಿಕೆ ಬಹಳ ದುಃಖವನ್ನು ತಂದಿದೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಧೈರ್ಯ ಕೊಡುವಂತದ್ದು ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮತ್ತು ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾಂಜಲಿಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಅರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Sir, a fighter like him cannot be found because it's difficult. He fought.
Congress President Sonia Gandhi has written to the Siachen hero's wife, saluting his endurance and willpower to serve the nation. She has added that Lance Naik Hanamanthappa has fought against the most challenging...
Hello and welcome to another episode of Gadgets and Gizmos. My name is Gaurav, and what's new? Well, we are in KL, Malaysia. It's a beautiful place where you find the tallest of the buildings, beautiful restaurants, clean roads and no cows. I wonder where.